Hi there, this is Clovis from Kinematic Lab. In this video I'm going to show you how to use the Arrays object. So let's go in the UI Toolkit interface and go in the Others category. And you have here the Arrays icon. So I press this button and then I left click on my viewport and I right click to end the creation. So now if I go in the modify panel here, you see that in this arrays parameters I have some options here, and first of all you see that you can pick a start mesh and end mesh. So for the moment you only have a square because you have to pick this object in order to have a result. So I will create two different meshes. So let's start with a plane and another plane. So I will pick this one as the start mesh and this one as the end mesh. So you see that for the moment nothing happens. So what is this array object is for? Basically it will fire a ray, okay, like a laser ray, from each vertices of the source object, the start object, okay, to the surface of the end object. The problem we have here is that a plane object have its face normals pointing out, pointing up, okay, so the rays can detect it. So what you have to do is you could add a normal modifier, okay, to flip these normals. So now you can see the rays, okay, or you could simply make a rotation, okay, and you can now see these rays. Fine. So you can already see that it really takes the collision, okay, from this vertex to this surface. So if the surface is not up to these rays, you don't see these rays, okay, and if I rotate it, okay, the rays are taking the collision point, okay. You could also add a modifier to this one, and the rays are going to follow. I will just make it a little bit bigger so the ray always hits a geometry. Okay, so you can see what is happening. So now about the rays parameter itself. You can change their radius here, okay, make them very thin or very thick. You can change the number of sides they have, okay. So for very thin rays you don't really care having a lot of sides, okay. It's just to make lines, so don't be crazy on that, of course. But if you really want to make cylinders, you can have more subdivisions. Okay. You have the percentage here, okay, which makes them grow until they hit the geometry. So what is great is that you can really make them progress and they will just stop when they hit the geometry. Now you have here ray directions options. So for the moment they are looking up, okay, the fire along the z-axis, but they can look down, okay, so down there is no geometry, so I have to move this down and rotate it again to see the normals. Fine. And you have here a helper option. So for that I will create a helper object, okay. And I will pick it. So I have to choose helper here and pick it with the pick helper button. So for the moment nothing happens because the rays are now looking at the z-axis of this helper, and you see that this z-axis is pointing up. So I have to rotate it, okay, and now you can really control the direction of these rays, okay, so they are pointing the direction you want. So you can animate this as well, okay. And the other option with this helper is the look at. So if you check this, the rays are going to look at this position. Okay, so of course if in their course they are hitting this geometry, they will just stop, right? But let's go back to the z-axis and let's add more rays. So I will just add some subdivisions in the source object, and you can see that I quickly have a lot of rays. I will also add some subdivisions there. Okay. And you see that because this object is animated, okay, its noise is animated. Maybe I have to make it a little bit smaller. You see the rays length is animated as well, okay, because it hits the object. So it can be quite fun to make some collisions like that. You can also deform the source object. So I have a plane in this case, but it can be anything. So it could be a sphere, for example, or a geosphere. So these rays are coming from each vertex. Okay, if I just reduce the number of vertices from each vertex, and they look along the z-axis of this helper. And even if I rotate the source object, these rays are still going from the vertices and looking along the z-axis. So you can make some pretty cool ray intersections like that. And you can deform this. So if I add again noise modifier, you could really make something cool. Okay, and in the dots parameter here, you see that you can add some dots object at start, okay, some dots object at the end, both of them or just one of them. And these dots can be spherical, okay, can change their size, the number of divisions here. They can be a box. And in this case, you already see that these boxes are just aligned to the world, so they are not rotated. But if you check the follow option here, they are aligned to the ray. And you can have a custom dot object. So if I press the custom here, I have to create, of course, a custom geometry. So I would like to make some 3D arrows, so I will just create a cone like that. I'll make it pretty simple. So I just need all these subdivisions, just something like that. And I will pick it as a custom mesh. And I can change their size. Okay, I don't need them at start, but only at the end. Okay. So I can animate this It's gonna look amazing. And of course all the changes you do to this geometry are going to be done in this and this dot object as well, because it's the source. So if I change the radius here, the height, anything, even the pivot point, okay, it's going to be changed there. So now if you apply a material to this, you need to apply a multi-sub object to see what I mean. So I will apply this. So for now it is black, but I can add a standard object on the ID1. So this one is going to be for the rays. Okay, and I will apply a second one. Sorry, I just didn't apply the color. And the second one is going to be for the dots. Okay, so now I can have two colors, two materials driving this, so I can see a better result. That's it. See you in the next video.